جان و خرد، اشتراک کنندگان گرامی، خانم ها و آقایون، برای من وظیفه را دادن در مورد انتخابات، فرصت‌ها و چالش‌ها صحبت کنم. این بحث بسیار دامن‌دراز است و کوشش میکنم که کوتاه خدمتتان توضیح بدم.
In the name of Almighty Allah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the conference. And I was given the opportunity to talk about the general election in Afghanistan and also the opportunities and which will provide in the future for the people of Afghanistan.
انتخابات یکی از مهم‌های اساسی تحقق دموکراسی است. ولی مشروط به این که آزاد، عادلانه، شفاف و عاری از تقلب باشد.
Election is one of the key roles and one of the key aspects of democracy, and it has certain conditions to be democratic, such as it has to be impartial, it has to be democratic, it has to be free of intervention from the other politicians for their own benefit.
خب ضرور است که در از اینکه در کشور که انتخابات صورت میگیرد ما بفهمیم که وضعیت سیاسی، اجتماعی، نظامی و اقتصادی کشور چگونه است.
It's very important for a country that holds general election. We should know the conditions of conditions of politics in there, and also the economic condition, and also the security conditions are very vital to hold a general election in a country.
بدون شک نقش جامعه جهانی در رابطه با فروپاشی طالب‌ها و از بین بردن طالب‌ها و کمک‌های میلیاردی در افغانستان بر تحقق دموکراسی و با گرفتن یک ساختار جدید حکومتی در افغانستان بسیار نقش اساسی داشت.
Without shadow of doubt, has the help and the support of the NATO and the Western countries have greatly helped us for demolishing, although not completely, the Taliban, and also for keeping infrastructure of high security, and also having the support of the NATO and the Western countries for our military and police.
بدون شک دستاوردهای در طی 12 سال وجود داشته که نام بگیریم، ولی من فکر میکنم که توازن و تناسب عقب ماندگی‌ها نسبت به توازن پیشرفت‌هایی که وجود داره بسیار زیاد است و
For sure, we have had achievements in this past 12 years with the help of the NATO and the Western countries, the United States and other international communities. But we have had achievements and drawbacks. But for sure, the percentage of drawbacks are far more increased than the percentage of achievements in this past 12 years in Afghanistan.
فرصت‌ها را اگر بشماریم، کمک‌های میلیاردها دلاری جامعه جهانی، پشتیبانی مردم از دموکراسی با استفاده از این کمک‌ها و شکل‌گیری جامعه مدنی و رسانه‌ها.
If we look at the opportunities and the achievements that we have had in the past 12 years, the support of the NATO and the Western countries to the people of Afghanistan, having free media, which is the freedom of speech for every media channels in Afghanistan, which has been a vital achievement, and also in terms of the economy, we've been growing, and also in terms of education and everything that's in Afghanistan, we have been growing. So these are all the achievements that we have had in the past 12 years.
ولی میایم سر چالش‌ها.
But we'll come back to the drawbacks.
عمده‌ترین چالش در افغانستان فعلا فساد است.
The biggest drawback in Afghanistan at the moment is corruption.
قانون شکنی است.
Breaking the law.
و این دو عامل اساسی آمدن به اینا موجودیت قدرت متمرکز دولتی در کشور است.
The main source and the main reason for this problem is the sovereignty or the power of the president in Afghanistan, which is given to the president by Constitution of Afghanistan. It's individual power, individual sovereignty.
وقتی یک نفر برای همه تصمیم میگیره به مشکلات خلق میکنه.
When one decides the future of the whole nation, that's what causes these problems.
تمرکز قدرت در یک تن فساد آور است. یعنی فساد عقلی است. وقتی که قدرت تمرکز میکنه در ید یک نفر، فساد موجودیتش حضورش حتمی باشه.
When power is given or devoted to one person, or when we have one sovereignty, it creates corruption, and that's one of the biggest causes of corruptions in Afghanistan.
یعنی به این معنا که فساد تمرکز مطلق قدرت است یک تن فساد مطلق موجود میاد.
Meaning that one person having individual power and making decisions for everyone else in a country will cause the biggest corruption in that community or society.
و این تاریخ ثابت کرده که خودکامه ها اگر بخواین عدالت تامین بکنن عادل بودن نمیتونن به هیچ صورت.
And the history has proven if somebody wants to bring peace and be equal to everyone with the power that they have, they've never been successful to achieve that.
و از طرف دیگه ما اگر به ارقام نظر بردیم سال گذشته نظر به ارقامی که وجود داره 95% تریاک جهان افغانستان رو تولید کرد.
And also,
و 209,000 هکتار زمین زیر کشت خشخاش رفته.
and also looking at the facts, if you look, 95% of the world is presented by the people of Afghanistan. And I think 209,000 hectare of the land is being used for production of opium in Afghanistan.
ما اصل از این چی هست؟ 1.5 میلیون محتاج جوان.
We have 1.5 million addicted youngsters in Afghanistan.
ای کاش آقای زیدیار می بود که گپا باید میگرفت.
I wish Mr. Izidia was here with us and would have noted all these facts.
ما بسیار مخالف هستم که آقای زیدیار گفت که اینجا به اصطلاح طبقه متوسط رشد کرد. در حالی که 60% کودکای افغانستان زیر سوی تغذیه هستند.
I not agree with Mr. Izidia's statement earlier that he said that the most progressing class of people in Afghanistan are the middle class. According to his stats, 60% of the children of the middle class are the ones who are suffering the most in terms of food and education in Afghanistan.
به اساس آخرین ارقام 96.3% کسب بیلانس تجارتی در افغانستان.
And for the last fact, I wanted 96.3%.
کسب بیلانس تجارتی دارد.
96.3% balance in the it doesn't have any exportation, it has all importation. So basically 96%, we rely on foreign food and everything else for 96.3%. So we produce only 4.7% of our own needs in Afghanistan.
و سال گذشته نظر به سال 2012 کاهش 10% اقتصاد یعنی رشد اقتصادی.
And also for the past 10 years, we've only had 10% of growth in our economy.
به علاوه از او عدم تمایل سرمایه‌داران خارجی به سرمایه‌گذاری
And also the foreign businessmen and the foreign entrepreneurs are not interested in investing in Afghanistan due to the security.
و سرمایه‌داران داخلی همچنان
And also the Afghan entrepreneurs.
فرار سرمایه‌های داخلی و فرار جوان‌ها بسیار افزایش یافته از داخل افغانستان.
And a lot of youngsters tend to leave Afghanistan for better future and for better life stability in other countries.
خب با موجودیت اینمی مشکلات ما میریم به طرف انتخابات.
With all these problems in Afghanistan, we're coming close to general elections in Afghanistan.
و از طرف دیگه یک اپوزیسیون واقعا بی برنامه.
And from other side, they have an opposition with no program.
یک اپوزیسیون واقعا غیر متشکل
Not complete.
و غیر دارای استراتژی ملی.
And without any national strategy.
و از جانب دیگه اقدامات آقای کرزی
And from other side, Mr. Karzai's expectations
برای وارد کردن فساد و تقلب برای انتخابات نمیشمارم.
For Mr. Karzai to intervene and cause a problem with the general election in 2014, I'm very certain that he's going to play a key role.
انتصاب رئیس کمیسیون انتخابات
He has chosen the independent election committee leader.
از افراد وفادار به خودش
And he is a very loyal member of Mr. Hamid Karzai's party.
رئیس کمیسیون بررسی انتخابات طلبای انتخاباتی مربوط به خودش
And also the president of the monetary committee that monitors the general election in Afghanistan, a very loyal member of Mr. Karzai's party.
تمام قماندان‌های امنیه ولایات
And all the security generals in every single district of Afghanistan are very loyal to Mr. Karzai.
و والی‌ها
And also the representatives of those districts, or the governors of those districts.
و از جانب دیگر یک چالش بسیار عمده کاندیدا یا نامزدی برادرش تا وقت قدرت برادرش به حیث رئیس جمهور است گرچه دموکراسی را اجازه میده ولی در افغانستان وارد کشور نه
Which proves my point by saying that his brother has stand for general elections, which indicates very greatly my points towards him having an intervention and a plan for intervening in the future of Afghanistan through his brother, which is obviously allowed in a democratic country, but not in a country like Afghanistan, which is not completely democratic at the moment.
یک نتیجه گیری کوتاه بسیار وقت کم است نماندم گپ‌های خود بزنیم.
I'll come to a conclusion. I don't have time.
کرزی با کارهایی که من برشمردم به شدت و به قوتش تکلف خواهد کرد.
According to my observation, Karzai is going to have a very, very big hand for causing a big intervention and disruption in this general election.
با موجودیت این وضعیت و طالب پروری‌هایی که کرزی کرده، نیروهای امنیتی کشورمون انگیزه جنگیدن در مقابل طالب و تروریست‌ها ندارند.
By creating this, by creating and planning this program that he has through his brother, and also supporting the Taliban to having a role in Afghanistan, which has demoralized the military and the commanders of Afghanistan to fight against the Taliban because they are in a confusion level, thinking the president is supporting the Taliban, how can they fight the Taliban?
و نتیجه انتخابات برآمده از این انتخابات یک عزم گسیختگی اجتماعی جدی را در کشور ما بار میاره.
And the results of this election, if it stays the way it is at the moment, will cause a great conflict in the future of Afghanistan.
من امیدوار هستم که کشور دوباره به طرف جنگ داخلی نره.
And I really hope that Afghanistan doesn't grow.
تصویر من نیست امیدوار هستم چنین نشه. تشکر.
Modern political developments of Afghanistan, and in particular reference and attention to the elections and power sharing since 2002. In this presentation, I will try to, in the limited time that I have, to address the questions of how has the United States approach to Afghanistan has been changing since 1978, and how the United States involvement in Afghanistan since 2002 has been influencing the political development in Afghanistan, and in what ways the United States long-term relationship with Afghanistan may change the social political structure in the country. First, I'll talk about the United States and Afghanistan from 1978 to 2009, and then about the United States involvement in Afghanistan's politics more directly from 2002 onwards, and what future legacies we may expect from this involvement. If you look at the United States involvement in Afghanistan from 1978, when the People's Democratic Party of Afghanistan rise to power, and more intensively from the former Soviet Union's invasion of Afghanistan in December 1979, we can see two different patterns. First, the United States and have international allies, which was primarily interested in defeating the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, and if possible, then to roll back the Soviet empire from Afghanistan and from the gate of South Asia. For doing that, the United States was in need of her international allies. In a more regional context, the United States needed her regional allies. And that regional allies had their own interests in in Afghanistan. Among the regional allies, we focus more about Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, because Saudi Arabia and Pakistan are the most two important regional allies for the United States in order for the United States to achieve the bigger goal, which was to defeat the Soviet Union. The United States needed Saudi Arabia for religious backing as well as for financial support behind the war in Afghanistan. And for Pakistan, for many obvious reasons, the United States needed Pakistan because Pakistan was actually the eyes and as well as the extended arm of the United States in Afghanistan politics. Saudi Arabia had primarily a religious interest in Afghanistan and in the region, and that was to expand their interpretation of Islam in the region. But Pakistan had a broader interest, and that was because Pakistan, right from the time of her creation in 1947, inherited two controversial border issues, and that was the legacy of the former British colonialism. That was the issue, unresolved issue of Kashmir between India and Pakistan, and the unresolved issue of the Durand line, of the borderline between Afghanistan and Pakistan. So you can clearly see that Pakistan is sandwiched between two colonial legacies, with India and with Afghanistan. So for Pakistan, in order to settle her political and strategic interests in Afghanistan, Pakistan not only played as an extended arm and eyes of the United States, but also Pakistan tried to use the United States presence in the war in Afghanistan to achieve some of her own strategic interests in Afghanistan. And that is for very obvious reason. We don't need to go into the debates, and there is a very well recorded literature about the political tensions between Afghanistan and Pakistan. But primarily, the United States approached the situation in Afghanistan through her international allies and through her regional allies. And these regional allies were quite powerful in influencing the United States regional politics towards Afghanistan. What happened that in 1989, there was a major success for the United States and her international as well as regional allies. And that was February 1989. The former Soviet Union withdrew all its army from Afghanistan. It didn't mean that the former Soviet Union cut all its assistance to Afghanistan, but nevertheless, the departure of the Soviet army was a major success for the United States and for her regional allies, particularly for Pakistan, because Pakistan needed to boost its own position vis-à-vis India, that Pakistan is able to play successfully a major role in big political games with defeating the Soviet Union. So this was a major boost for all parties involved in Afghanistan. However, a series of other events happened since then, and one of the things that I would like to highlight, but I'm not going to go into the details because we don't have time, and that was the Jalalabad operation. The Jalalabad operation was a major issue. It has become a major issue, and it was a test for the government of Afghanistan of Dr. Najibullah, but as well as for the religious parties, the resistance parties that opposed the government, as well as for Pakistan and Saudi Arabia and the United States. The failure of Jalalabad operation actually political institutions, and there is an economic recovery. There is an economic recovery. It is not yet very well sustainable, but it is on a progressive path. And there is an improving democratic system. Of course, this democratic system in a war-torn country of Afghanistan, you cannot compare it with the United States, with Europe, or the United Kingdom. Nevertheless, it is a very important experience, and the last two elections showed that people are enthusiastic to sustain it, and that people's enthusiasm is visible in the 2014 election as well. And there is a significant development in education. Despite all its challenges, whether it's a textbook, curriculum, teacher education, and the availability of schools and security, but there is a significant improvement. And there is a civil society organization that is increasingly channeling the youth energy to peaceful and political dialogues. And there is an unprecedented development of media. And then we have the peace talks with the Taliban. although there are challenges and issues about this, but nevertheless, any negotiation, any talk is better than fighting. And the potential result that it may have, there will be an increase in religious extremism in Afghanistan, loss of some stability in provincial or in rural areas, regression will be in some sort, maybe in education system, and there will be more pressure on women, maybe on minority groups.